What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be installing the Bilstein 8112s with zone control. I'm going to be installing them, replacing my Bilstein 5100s. So we'll get right to it. First thing to note about these coilovers is they come pre-adjusted. They give you a chart here. So for me, I am a double cab 5-foot bed. It's pre-adjusted to 2.2 inch lift. The max for this is 2.6 inches. We're going to go 2.2 first and see how it sits. So side specific coilovers, the driver's side is already pre-adjusted for the taco lean. So this side is a little bit taller than this side. So that's how you're going to be able to tell that this is our driver's side and this is our passenger side. Alright, to get started, we are going to have to pull this sway bar down out of the way. You don't have to remove it completely, I don't believe. We'll see it, you know, when we get there. There's two 14s, one on each side. Once we remove that, should get a lot of movement out of the sway bar, so it's kind of out of our way. So we'll go ahead and do that. Alright, with the sway bar loose, as you can see, it allows you to move it this way. Because the shocks, we're going to be sneaking them in and out down through here. So the sway bar just gives you just enough room to allow you to do that. Now that that's loose, we're going to, there's two 19s for the lower ball joint here and here. Go ahead and loosen those up. So after you loosen these, that releases your lower ball joint. Next on the list is we got three 14 millimeters up here, the studs that hold the top of the strut assembly to the frame. Go ahead and loosen those. There's one in the back here that's a little tricky, but you'll get it. So we got our three 14s at the top. Loosen off the nuts. Then this is a 19 millimeter nut, and on the other side it's a bolt head, and the bolt's going to come out that way. And then once that is out, we can take our pry bar and pry down on the lower control arm. Get enough room. This is where having a friend help you out might help you out. So we'll get into that next. Alright, so we got a big pry bar that we're going to put in this chain here and pry down on the lower control arm. And the same time he does that, I'm going to be fishing this coilover out in between the tie rod and the sway bar. Just watch your fingers because you'll smash them like I did. So here we go. So definitely an easier way to do this would be to pull the sway bar completely out of the way, but you can fish it up in there with a little bit of work. Definitely requires two people. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Alright, as you saw from our struggle, coilover's in, letters facing out, reservoir coming out here, this fished out here because it's end up going to be mounted there. We got our lower bolt back in, coming from the back towards the front, and we got our nuts started up there. Next we're going to go ahead and tighten those down. Then we'll go ahead and get our 219s back in the bottom here, then we can work on mounting the reservoir. Alright, to get your two bolts in the bottom here, you can put a pry bar up here of your upper control arm, and it allows you to pry down. So, get that, and it should line up relatively easy. As you can see, that one started. Run that up in there. And then once they're started, you can go ahead and tighten them down. So these are what our reservoirs are going to mount to. So they actually bolt into where the sway bar bolts up to from the factory. So you go ahead and get those started. And then once you get them started, you can go ahead and tighten them up. And then after we tighten those up, we'll be able to mount our factory sway bar bracket to this bracket because there's extra holes on here for it. And then we'll get our reservoir mounted up. So these blocks here are aluminum, so just be careful when you're tightening these up. All right, to mount your reservoir up, just go ahead and get that started in there. And then this is going to bolt to our spacer that we put where our sway bar is. And then same thing, it's going into that aluminum block, so just be careful. Alright guys, so that's everything all mounted up. We got our reservoir mounted. There's just the Allen that you tighten up once you get it positioned correctly. And then everything should all clear the control arm there. Just kind of run back through and think about every bolt you took loose and remember if you tightened it or not. And then once you kind of go through that checklist, go ahead and put your wheels back on, and you're going to need to go get an alignment after this. So go ahead and schedule that because you don't want to burn your tires up. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. That was the install, just a little test drive. It's a bumpy parking lot next door. Definitely seemed to be a lot smoother. What I am going to have to do, I think, so I went ahead and went with that 2.2 inch setting that they send it to you as. I think I am going to go ahead and lift it up because I measured and it was 38 from here to the floor before I started with the other suspension. And then with this suspension it's 37 from here to the floor. So it is about an inch lower, but it does seem to ride really nice. So I'm just going to kind of fine tune some things, and I think it'll be good to go. So I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.